The Science of Meditation, author, Jana.
Meditation is the practice of making our minds pure and serene, so it is now being practiced all over the world as mental hygiene and brain exercise to help people reduce their stress in life. Meditation centers have sprung up all over the world, but the success rate of meditation practitioners is very low. In fact, it was only in the Buddha's time that we had a standard method of meditation practice. When Buddha is no longer in the world, the method of meditation is no longer correct. Mankind has never had a science of meditation because meditation is too difficult. In fact, it is the science that synthesizes all the difficulties of all sciences. Therefore, before entering into the meditation realm, we need to have a serious attitude like that of a true scientist in order to go far and achieve results on the long, arduous journey. That is the content of the science of meditation. 1. Our brains are always working. Because of the natural structure of their brains, people are always thinking and even have stress. Humans think their thinking is an advantage and have taken advantage of the restless thinking of their brains to develop the world. With their learning, discoveries, and inventions, men can fly to Mars, to the edge of the solar system, or can dive deep under the sea, etc. And it is thought that our brains non-stop working is an advantage. However, in addition to the thoughts beneficial to our community, we also have evil and wrong thoughts that make us wicked and cause suffering to others and all sentient beings in the world. Thinking makes people valuable and broadens their knowledge but also makes them miserable if they don't have any right thoughts. For example, there was a couple, and the wife kept begging her husband to buy a car even though they didn't have much money. Loving his wife, the husband managed to do everything and they also got a car. At that time, having just gotten a driver's license, the wife got in the car for a test drive. Bang, she crashed into a wall and the car was badly damaged. She immediately thought of being badly cold, because her husband worked very hard to get the car. Hearing the bang, the husband rushed out of the house. The wife was ready for her husband's wrath, but he quickly hugged her and said, "Are you okay? How lucky. Better lose our money than lose your life." The wife immediately relieved the burden. A normal person, the wife thought that everyone loves their property, especially one bought by money earned from blood, sweat, and tears. She thought that her husband would speak harshly to her, but the husband thought that better lose money than lose his wife. The husband had the right thought to not get angry with his wife but be happy instead when the car broke down, but his wife was still okay. Because of his right thinking, mindset, his family continued to be happy. Everything that happens is due to our thinking, right/wrong/good/bad, and our lives will change accordingly. That's why Buddha teaches us that it's important to have the right thinking, mindset. But how? 2. How to have the right mindset. Buddha teaches that to have the right mindset, one must have the right views first, meaning that one must have some right views about life, morals, philosophy, and everything else. How do we get these right views? We must learn. Learn from sages, venerable masters that have been tested for a long time in history. For example, Confucius said, "Don't do anything that you don't want others to do to you." This has been tested over the centuries and is recognized as a truth. That is the right view and we must learn it. Buddha teaches us about the law of cause and effect, the karma law. We reap what we have sowed. If we bring happiness to others, luck will come to us. If we cause suffering to others, we will experience unhappiness. This fairness is not immediately accepted by everyone. Only those who have spent years contemplating many things in life know that it's true that life has a secret justice that governs all, that is the law of cause and effect. From many teachings of sages, we can establish our own view of life, which Buddha calls the right view. And when we have the right view of life, we can change our wrong thoughts into the right ones. For example, we've just got angry at someone, and checking with the law of cause and effect, we know having anger is wrong, so we replace anger with love. The inner battle to have the right mindset is extremely hard. People keep trying to find the right mindset, then overcome their lowly status to become noble people in life. Those who have only the right thoughts in their heads only say and do good, beneficial things for life. All the sages in the world have always dreamed of it and have been searching for a way of making their minds always think right. For what? For the benefit, morals, and happiness of the people around them. 3. Not thinking helps humans go beyond their status. Buddha, when all his thoughts were perfected and his mind was totally pure and serene, discovered without thinking is a great leap from being humans to being saints. This is a giant leap forward for men, comparable to their invention of the atomic bomb. Turning all bad thoughts into good ones and then into very good ones is also very precious, but only when we can stop all our thoughts, mean our minds are really pure and serene, can we begin to enter the realm of really good people, the saint. Buddha is a perfect demonstration of his invention, making the mind purer and purer until its absoluteness. Practicing meditation, we also get moments of purity and serenity of mind in meditation, but nothing can compare to the purity and serenity of Buddha. Buddha's absolute purity and serenity make him the entire universe. He knows all things, all principles, and all realms of existence of the vast universe. 4. Meditation is the only way to make the mind pure and serene. Throughout his life, Buddha taught meditation to everyone because only meditation can make people's minds pure and serene, and only when the mind is pure and serene, can people enter the realm of saints, immense and transcendental. If anyone can practice Buddha's teachings until he attains the non-self, he will have the ultimate bliss, though he still looks normal. We're lucky to be Buddha's disciples and to practice his meditation method. We can never repay Buddha's favors. Practicing meditation is to surpass human status in order to become a saint, and that's not easy. Just changing one's status in the human realm is very difficult, from an ordinary person to a powerful one, a poor person to a rich one. A bad person to a beautiful one, a sick person to a healthy one, etc., because it has to do with that person's past karma and his blessings. Many people mistakenly think that it's not difficult to have material blessings, so they only focus on spiritual blessings. The truth is that in all our lives we have not achieved material blessings. Let's not talk about sublime things, focus on the basic first, material blessings. For humans, to become a saint is an extraordinary thing, but as children of Buddha, we are forced to follow the very hard path, the meditation path, to purify the mind, no other way than that, to surpass human status. 5. Buddha's meditation path is equal for all. Everyone is different in their status and blessings, but the meditation path that Buddha opened is equal for all. Just like in the old monarchy, the king conducted an exam once every 3 years, anyone, of any origin, could take it, and if he passed it, he would become an official, a mandarin. This improvement took place mainly in Eastern countries, such as Vietnam, China, Japan, and Korea. And in many other countries at that time, other classes could not join the aristocracy. Buddha's meditation path is open to everyone, regardless of his status. Everyone can practice meditation, so on the meditation path, we find love and happiness because we have let go of all thoughts. 6. The 5 levels of impurity of the mind. Meditation is the practice of making the mind, and the mind has 5 levels of impurity, and serene, pure from low to high, as below. The first level is to have no unwanted thoughts. Many people mistakenly believe that just stopping unwanted thoughts will make the mind pure and serene. This is the lowest level. The second level is to have no feelings of love, hate, anger, and resentment. The third level is to have no natural emotions. Feelings and emotions are different and we often get confused. In the 12 dependent origins, Buddha distinguishes them very clearly. For example, looking at a beautiful flower, we will experience 2 psychological effects. The first is a feeling of joy and peace. For example, the second is a love for the flower. Or looking at a very ugly face, we will also experience 2 psychological effects. The first is displeasure, and the second is contempt. Displeasure is an emotion, and contempt is a feeling. These 2 things are different. For example, an elderly married man shook his whole body when he saw a very beautiful young girl. He had no reason to love her, but her beauty stirred his emotions. Feelings, we can control, but emotions, we can't because they are very deep, very strong, and very natural, so very scary. In the process of inner purification, we must first calm down thoughts, disturbed thoughts, secondly feelings of love and hatred. And thirdly, emotions. Calming our emotions means that when we look at an ugly person we don't feel uncomfortable, or when we look at a beautiful one, we aren't disturbed by pleasant feelings. Fourth is to no longer have bad habits. Bad habits are accumulated in many lives and are difficult to overcome pure. But the mind in meditation will help us realize them and get over them. For example, smoking is a habit, addictive to the brain and hard to overcome. When our minds become pure and serene in meditation, we will see that habit, as Buddha says, is an unpleasant thing, a thorn, and we can give it up effortlessly. At the fourth level, when our craving for smoking arises, we see this craving and it immediately goes away. The same goes for other habits, for example, shopping. Many people are addicted to shopping because it gives them the pleasure of receiving the item they like and the admiration of the sales clerk when they pay. But when our minds are purified to the fourth level, we will realize our mentality of liking to spend money, to take goods, and to receive sales clerks' admiration. We will find that it is an addiction, a habit, so we should give it up. Later, when we shop, it's not because of our shopping addiction but because of someone's need or our purpose of helping the shop to sell its goods. The fifth is instincts. In the Buddhist scriptures, it calls fetters. Instincts are things that lie deep in the mind, secretly controlling the souls of sentient beings. Usually, people can't get over them, only Buddhist saints can. Because our minds are not pure and serene enough to realize our instincts. We still have them: anger, greed, hate, resentment, selfishness, etc. Practicing meditation will help us deal with them though cannot eliminate them. For example, because we have an instinct of greed, we always want to take good things for ourselves. But thanks to our practice of meditation, when we are faced with a situation involving the benefits of ourselves and others, we will take reasonable actions, not just focus on our own benefits. We still have to struggle with our instincts and can't defeat them, but that's a lot better. Buddhist saints gently subdued all instincts, even the deepest ones, although in many past lives they may have loved or been infatuated with something. Again, remember that there are 5 hindrances that we need to overcome for our minds to be pure and serene. The first is unwanted thoughts, the second is feelings of love and hate, the third is emotions of happiness and unhappiness, the fourth is bad habits, the fifth is instincts. Walking on the meditation path, we must get rid of all these 5 things. That's why meditation is said to be so difficult. Many people mistakenly think that they have achieved sainthood when they no longer have unwanted thoughts in meditation, but this is only the lowest level. There are 4 higher levels that we don't understand and have no reasoning about them, which means we haven't reached them. When we have reached all these levels, we will understand them very clearly. There are many levels of purity and serenity of mind, and one can talk only about the level he has reached. One who has reached the first level cannot talk about the 4 higher levels but only about the state of mind when it unwanted thoughts. One who has reached the second level no longer has ordinary love and hate. One who has reached the third level will realize his feelings of happiness, unhappiness, when he comes into contact with something. As for habits, deep instincts, only those who have reached the corresponding level can talk about them. Those who often say that living is also meditating, drinking tea is also meditating, walking and standing is meditating, eating and drinking is meditating, only attaining purity of mind in the first, lowest, level. You see, meditation is so difficult. 7. When the mind is pure, people will achieve many special results. Many countries in the world have made statistics and scientific reports based on many characters in stories and events around the world, and they discovered that when the mind is pure, people will achieve many special results. There was a story about a skinny old farmer who tried to stop a group of young men fighting in the neighborhood. One of the young men beat the old man, and everyone thought the old man was going to die. But strangely, his body was like a block of stone, so got unharmed, and when he held the young men's hands and pulled them down, they all collapsed. At that time, everyone knew that the old farmer was an unknown expert in martial arts. He revealed that when the mind is pure, we will gain great inner strength from practicing Qigong. Through many stories by fakirs and Indian ascetics, clairvoyants, intuitionists, and psychics all over the world, it is concluded that when the mind has no thoughts, people will attain many special things as follows. The first is good health, the second is a clear, positive mental state, the third is to be much smarter. People who think a lot will be less intelligent and slowly lose their memories. Those with a pure mind are very wise. The fourth is a gentle, sympathetic, altruistic, or in other words, ethical, attitude. And especially the feeling of real happiness. It is not the joy or the pleasure we have when we gather with friends at party, when we are praised, when we have a lot of money, or when we have success. The happiness from a pure mind, or from meditation, is so special that when we achieve it, we will be very confident in ourselves and know for sure that it is happiness. The fifth is having the quality of saints. Purity of pure mind is a required quality of a saint. A person with a mind is not necessarily a saint but has a little of the quality of a saint. 8. The world has never had a standard science of meditation. Many stories about meditation, poetry about meditation, scriptures about meditation, and results in meditation appearing all over the world make people want to learn and practice meditation. Nowadays, meditation is a fashion. A person, regardless of religion, is considered backward if he does not know anything about meditation. Many philosophers and religious people find joy from their pure minds. There are many meditation centers in the world, especially in Buddhist countries like Burma, Sri Lanka, Thailand, Myanmar, Vietnam, and many Western countries, but how many people have succeeded in practicing meditation? The rate is very low. Why? Because there is no standard method of meditation in the world. Most people practiced meditation and got results due to luck, so the way a person practices meditation and has a pure mind shouldn't apply to others. Millions of years have passed but man has never had a standard science of meditation, except in the time of Buddha. In Buddha's time, people had little scientific knowledge, so Buddha could not talk much about meditation. He only said enough for people in that era to understand and practice. But because people's capacities were high at that time, many people achieved results. After Buddha's time, humans' capacities were low and their blessings were reduced, so Buddha's teachings on meditation were not enough for people to achieve results, and thus the number of those who attained results gradually decreased until today. Today, there's a growing movement toward meditation, but the number of those who attained results is also very small. Why? Because meditation is a science that combines all the difficulties of other sciences. For example, in a class, some are good at English but not at math, some are good at math but afraid of literature, some are good at biology but bad at physics. We are good at one science and find other sciences difficult. And meditation is the synthesis of all difficulties of all sciences. To practice meditation, we must first prepare ourselves to work in the most difficult field of all and work as seriously as true scientists do, then we can practice meditation and achieve results. For a farmer, growing trees is easy, it's about burying seeds in the ground, watering them, and after a few days, the seeds germinate. Tend the trees for a few years, and then harvest fruits. But for an agricultural engineer, growing trees is not easy. We must know its process. The first is to choose seeds and see if they are F1, F2, or F3. Before burying the seeds in the ground, we need to know the composition of the soil and if it has enough nutrients or has any substances that destroy the seeds, or if it has ants or insects that will eat the seeds. People who have a limited understanding of something always take risks and find it easy, those who know it well will find it difficult. But the way of people without knowledge can't guarantee the results. If lucky, their trees will give fruit, if not, they will gain nothing. As for the agricultural engineer, because he fully understands the problem, his tree will definitely bear fruit. There is one thing that everyone risks their lives to do without knowing anything about it: getting married. During someone's puberty, besides being governed by his karma, he is stimulated by his endocrine glands, so when he falls in love with someone, he wishes to marry that person even though they don't have a house or a career. They think love will get them through everything, but they're wrong. The conflict of personality in the burden of many responsibilities, responsibility to parents on both sides, responsibility to their own family, food, clothing, shelter, make their married life suffocating. Many people also risk their lives to practice meditation when they hear good teachings about it, such as understanding the nature of enlightenment or the whole universe in the blink of an eye, from those who claim to be meditation masters. However, these meditation practitioners didn't succeed, even got sick or went mad. Their families couldn't stand them because they didn't care about doing business and refused to do anything because they think it was a trivial matter. It's because we do not understand meditation as a very difficult science, we are easily fascinated by some false reasoning, and thus gain no results, and even become irresponsible. 9. What should we have before practicing meditation? 9.1. The first is a determination to keep the mind pure and serene. Many people develop an interest in meditation when they hear a story about a meditation master who attained enlightenment, a passage of a sutra from Buddha's teachings on meditation, or a meditation method to purify the mind. It's just an interest in meditation, not the determination to keep our minds pure and free from unwanted thoughts. Most of us do not have this determination. We practice meditation in a way that it's okay whether or not to have a pure mind. It's because our merit of revering Buddha is insufficient. When our reverence for Buddha is intense and profound, the karma law will impel us to have a strong determination to keep our minds pure and serene, to have the determination to practice meditation. One must have great merit, created by reverence for Buddha, infinite love for sentient beings, and extreme humility. When we have an infinite love for sentient beings, we will always wish for everyone to be enlightened. If we don't have this wish, our compassion is insufficient. We should never be conceited. When we practice meditation and do good deeds, special things will come into our lives. We will have good luck and success, experience many strange states in meditation, even have magical powers, and know what other people think. If we think that we're excellent, this is called arrogance, all our blessings will go away. So we must always be humble, no matter what happens to us. We must always see ourselves as inferior, as insignificant as dust. Many merits and virtues from our reverence for Buddha, our compassion for sentient beings, and our humility will form the first condition for our practicing meditation, the determination to keep the mind pure and serene. 9.2. The second is knowledge of the law of cause and effect. Karma is a science that is many times higher than the doctoral level. The karma law is not as simple as good things come to good ones or sow the wind and reap the storm. Understanding the law of cause and effect in such a way is at the very first step. The law of cause and effect is so strange and sophisticated we can't tell all about it. Understanding the law of cause and effect, we understand our lives and others' lives, and importantly, we understand our own minds. We will understand why we can or cannot put our minds in a serene state, and then adjust our practice in accordance with the law of cause and effect. A Buddhist woman told us that every time she meditated, she felt unbearable pain in her groin. As if the groin had been broken or removed. As you know, sitting cross-legged to practice meditation doesn't cause terrible pain. Believing in the karma law, she tried to repent her sin and endure the terrible pain. Once she could not bear her pain, she burst into tears and repented to Buddha. That night, in her dream, she experienced a past life of hers. In that life, she was a soldier. The soldiers on her side caught someone and they split into two groups and pulled that person's legs apart. Then a soldier, her past life, jumped up and pinned him with his knee and broke his groin. She discovered she used to be so evil. Enduring the pain in meditation, she is slowly repaying the karma she caused. If she hadn't practiced meditation, she might have had to pay for her karma with a car crash, causing her groin to be exposed. The groin is close to a lot of internal organs, so if it breaks, it will cause a huge problem. Fortunately, she followed Buddhism and practiced meditation, paying for her karma by enduring the pain. If she continued to repent her sin more earnestly and set more animals free, maybe her karma would be paid off. Each of us carries different karma from many past lives. Sometimes we live wrongly, sometimes righteously, sometimes have extreme suffering, sometimes have extreme happiness. We have all been through such intense things, and they all affect our meditation practice. Understanding the law of cause and effect, you will live more altruistically. For example, there was a person who kept trying to harm you, and you knew it was because of your wrongdoing in a previous life. Perhaps you also harmed him in a past life. You should endure his harm to end your karma if it doesn't affect anyone else, but had to fight back if your suffering would affect your family or many other people. Likewise, when our country is invaded, we cannot be compassionate to the enemy because we will lose our country and our people will become slaves. Understanding this, we will understand the meaning of National Day on September 2nd. Many people don't feel the sacredness of September 2nd, 1945. From that day, Vietnam was seen as an independent country, and hence had a righteous reason to fight against the enemy. National Day September 2nd comes from the blood, sweat, and tears of our leaders, heroes, and millions of people. Without the day of September 2nd, 1945, we would not have the peaceful, developed, and happy Vietnam as today. 9.3 Third, we must have knowledge of psychology. Meditation is to tame and control the mind, so we have to understand our minds profoundly. The human mind system is complex, closely related to and strongly influenced by each person's karma. Because Western psychology has not studied the law of cause and effect, it cannot unexplain all about our minds. Once, we talked to a woman with a PhD in psychology, and she said, "I have studied Western psychology for a lifetime, taught it for a lifetime, but I can't find a way out." Buddhism can explain everything about psychology because it is based on the law of cause and effect. However, Western psychology is favored for its degree, Buddhist psychology is not. Many people, including Buddhist monks, love to study Western psychology and use it to explain Buddha's teachings, which is like standing at the bottom of a well and explaining the sky. Practicing meditation, we have to understand all the principles and activities of our minds, and thus we need to learn the information about the mind taught by Buddha. 9.4 Fourth, we must have knowledge of medicine, both modern and traditional. Because purity of mind is related to the brain is related to the whole body, including hormones, blood, liver, intestines, lungs, etc., so one must have knowledge of medicine, not just modern medicine. Our traditional medicine is very special. Traditional medicine has unique concepts, such as acupuncture points. We didn't find anything special at the acupuncture points, but inserting needles into them can cure the disease. This is a mystery and pride of traditional medicine. 9.5 Fifth, we need knowledge of the physiology and psychology of the brain. Each region of the brain is responsible for a specific function. Sometimes that our minds often get disturbed is caused by a glitch in the brain, and if we know how to solve it, we can recover well. 9.6 Sixth, we need knowledge of the levels of mindfulness stage. Mindfulness is the seventh stage of the Eightfold Path, just before the stage of right concentrate ion. Right concentration is the attainment of the fourth jhana, the highest level of meditation result. The stage of mindfulness is very long and unclear, so think that they have attained sublime sainthood. The truth, many people who have reached the mindfulness stage is that they haven't yet achieved the first jhana, the lowest level of meditation result, even though in mindfulness stage we can attain some stages of sainthood, sotapanna, sakadagami, so the achievement of mindfulness is also precious. We must understand the 5 hindrances: greed, anger, drowsiness, restlessness, and doubt, that prevent us from putting our minds in a serene state of meditation. According to Buddha, after attaining mindfulness for a while, we must eliminate these 5 hindrances before we can enter the first jhana. This is an indispensable stage and also a measure of our meditation practice. When special mental states appear, check if these 5 hindrances still exist. If yes, these special mental states are not progressing in the right direction, according to Buddha's meditation. Maybe, they're just hallucinations. When we achieve a little mindfulness, our minds will have a feeling of purity, emptiness, clarity, and a lot of hallucinations, seeing auras, feeling the body as light as a feather, etc. Any hallucinations can interest us, but we must overcome them all in order to go to the end of the meditation path. We must understand the levels of mindfulness very well so as not to mistakenly believe that we have attained sainthood when we attain only a little mindfulness, and be very careful with praise when we've achieved a little mindfulness. The state in which our minds are pure or have few unwanted thoughts, or in which we feel our bodies as light as a feather just results from our achievement of mindfulness. And if we receive such praise as having reached a very high level, close to sainthood, then we will not be able to attain this result again in the next 50 lives. Be cautious when you attain mindfulness. You will have or experience many great things such as having a pure, empty mind, seeing auras, or experiencing many more wondrous things. They are all dangerous and can make you fall behind with your meditation practice 100 times worse. These things are, actually, minor results in meditation. We must have a great blessing to be able to go forward step by step. Remember that some progress is just a dangerous trap. We will make it clear in the 4 foundations of Mindfulness 6. 9.7. 7th, we need knowledge of all the levels of right concentration from the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th level of meditation results. This is a very high realm of saints. At this level, we can gradually eliminate the fetters, instincts. Nowadays, few people can enter the first stage of meditation through the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th one, so no one can describe all of those stages. Often, when the mind is a little calmer, practitioners begin to make poems of meditation and find themselves free from and unconcerned about the outside world. But it's also a dangerous trap of meditation. A natural effect of the pure mind is feeling free from and unconcerned about the outside world. It prevents practitioners from wanting to take care of anything or of anyone anymore. However, it's wrong and it makes practitioners non-Buddhist. True meditators must have a very pure and serene mind, and deep in their hearts is a great vow full of responsibility to sentient beings and Buddhism. That vow does not manifest itself as a thought but will make these meditators care about, love, teach sentient beings, and develop Buddhism. 9.8. We need knowledge of the pros and cons of all current meditation sects. There is no meditation sect that has all advantages. We must know all the pros and cons of all sects of meditation, but not for criticizing or competing. We should know them in an academic, objective way, to form a scientific knowledge of meditation. So when someone advertises their meditation sects, we won't be overwhelmed, because we've already known all the good and bad of it and what we will achieve and suffer. 9.9. 9th, we need knowledge of the moral and psychological system. A person asked, "Why is my mind not pure and serene after a long time of practicing meditation?" The answer was, "Let purify your mind until it has no unwholesome thoughts, it is almost serene, unwholesome thoughts disturb the mind, while wholesome ones calm it." Inner tranquility is compatible with morality, so anyone who practices meditation needs to improve their morality very well. Inner tranquility also helps us see our moral faults more easily. When we reach a higher level in meditation, hidden bad tendencies deep in our souls will be discovered and neutralized. That's why meditation is said to have the power to build perfect morality. Meditation and morality greatly affect each other. We can only attain the right concentration when we have eradicated almost all unwholesome thoughts arising from ourself. Morality and meditation are similar in that they both focus on the mind. Morality judges our thoughts right or wrong, good or evil. Meditation judges our minds peaceful or unpeaceful. Self-criticism is not easy. One must be very sincere, courageous, and intelligent to judge himself guilty. Anyone who can often see his faults will have the favor of gods. We keep trying hard to purify our minds little by little until they are pure, and when we no longer have wrong or evil thoughts, we can practice meditation easily. At that time, we should focus only on the peacefulness or unpeacefulness of the minds. And our unwanted thoughts slowly go away for us to go into meditation. Therefore, understanding the moral and psychological system is one factor to open the door to meditation because it guides us to control our minds and inner souls. It seems to be a simple thing, but a solid basis. 9.10 10th, we need to know the exact technique of meditation. In order for our practice of meditation to be successful, we must first prepare 3 solid foundations: morality, blessings, and qigong. Morality is the purity of the mind, with absolute reverence for Buddha, boundless love for sentient beings, and extreme humility. Blessings come from our efforts to bring peace, happiness, and morality to everyone. Qigong helps to keep our life energy in the lower part of the body, helping the brain to be stable when we practice meditation. Body. 10. The basic meditation technique. First, sit in the full lotus position. Second, keep the body still and relaxed. Third, abide in the body and be aware of all of it. Fourth, contemplate the impermanence of the. Fifth, notice, but do not control, your breathing in and out. These 5 things are all effective in resolving our unwanted thoughts. The principle of practicing meditation is to use a combination of many things to purify the mind. We must memorize and practice all these things. 10.1. The first is to sit in the full lotus position. All Buddhas of the past, the present, and the future do it. You sit upright with your shoulders level and comfortable. Place your left hand in your right hand, palms upwards. At that time, your 2 soles, 2 palms, and lower abdomen, with the CV4 acupuncture point inside, are considered to be located in the same place, corresponding to the 5 parts of the mind: 1 part for the lower abdomen, 2 parts for 2 palms, and 2 parts for 2 soles. Only in the full lotus position can these 5 parts of the mind be gathered together. The heart and the head do not count as parts of the mind in practicing meditation. 10.2. The second is to keep the body still and relaxed. If the body is stiff, the brain will be tense. If the body isn't still, the mind cannot be calmed. Therefore, keeping the body still and relaxed means keeping the mind calm, equals to have fewer unwanted thoughts. Following Buddha's path, we should treat the body as root of the mind, and it's the golden rule of the practice of meditation. Later, when we progress in meditation, we will find that we should never leave the body, at the beginning as well as at the end of our spiritual practice. 10.3. The third is to abide in the body and be aware of all of it. When we pay much attention to the body, the brain will be less active. So, abiding in the body and being aware of all of it is a powerful technique to quiet the mind, subduing strong unwanted thoughts. Don't pay attention to the outside world but the whole body, from head to toe. Always correct the position of all parts of the body. Though you should be aware of the whole body, pay more attention to the abdomen, especially the bottom of the abdomen where the CV1 acupuncture point is located, and the legs and feet. We should be aware of it gently but not forcefully. The CV1 acupuncture point is located at the bottom of the abdomen but is responsible for the head. When it is strong, the brain will work very well. And thus we will become more intelligent and be easier to see our hidden mistakes, and after a long time, we will have intuition. Besides, we need inner strength or inner power, from our practice of Qigong, to be able to abide in the body and to be aware of the whole body on a regular basis. Those who possess great inner strength always feel their life energy, so they're easy to remember their whole bodies. Inner strength helps nourish the brain. Practicing Qigong is to strengthen the part of the body from the navel down to the bottom of the abdomen, where there are 3 extremely important points: the CV4 acupuncture point, the CV1 acupuncture point, and the sacral. The sacrum is the yin root of the body. The place where one's inner strength is located and grown. At the beginning of the practice of meditation, we were instructed, sit in the full lotus position, keep the body still and relaxed, abide in the body and be aware of it. Now you should be gently aware of the sacrum also, right at the sacrum, no higher that. Our inner power will gradually appear and it will support our practice of meditation. 10.4. The fourth is to contemplate the impermanence of the body. When we're well aware of our bodies, our minds will have few unwanted thoughts, our bodies will be stable, and our inner strength will be full, and thus, our attachment to the body will appear. Being attached to the body is also being attached to the self, and that's why the Buddha teaches us to contemplate the impermanence of the body, setting up the foundation to eliminate the self. In the Kayagatasati Sutta, Buddha carefully teaches how to contemplate the body. The practitioner must see the change of the body from young to old, ugly, and sick, and then die, and then the body continues to decay. Its bones also dissolve into ashes, then the ashes completely disappear. We have to do it to totally remove our attachment to the body. You see, Buddha's thoroughness, rigor, subtlety, wisdom, and compassion are incomparable, and thus our reverence for him will be never sufficient. 10.5. The fifth is to notice, but not control, your breathing in and out. Breathing is the core of meditation. Anyone who practices meditation must understand the meaning of breathing very well. We breathe to sustain our lives, and breathing has two kinds, automatic breathing and active breathing. Automatic breathing means that even though we are not paying attention to our breathing, our bodies still breathe automatically, controlled by the unconscious nervous system. If we pay attention to our breathing, active breathing, it will immediately be controlled by the conscious nervous system. Neuroscience has confirmed that when we breathe consciously, active breathing, our brains will immediately be focused and have few unwanted thoughts. This is a great property of man. In terms of medicine, we can say when the neural area responsible for breathing gets excited, other neural areas will go into inhibition. The first principle of breathing. When we gently notice our breathing, breathing in, we know we're breathing in, breathing out, we know we're breathing out, without any control or intervention, our brains will be inhibited, our minds calm down, and our awareness increased. We will be focused and have few unwanted thoughts so that we can go deep into concentration, destroying the ego. The second principle of breathing is that when we breathe consciously, a flow of supernatural or spiritual or cosmic air, called spiritual energy, goes with our breath into our bodies, generating miracles. This spiritual air flow is not dependent on the lungs and can go everywhere in the body, and wherever it goes, it strengthens that area. However, scientists still do not know about this, and thus have not yet recognized that spiritual air exists in the universe. The third principle of breathing is that the life energy/inner power structure of our bodies should be in the shape of a drop of water with its bottom large and its top small. That is, our inner power should be full in the lower area and very little in the upper area for the brain to develop. Fortunately, Buddha teaches us about breathing, which, if practiced correctly, will bring awareness and inner power. It's not easy to inhale and exhale with awareness and effortlessness and a little air. Usually, we don't notice our breathing, or when we notice it, it becomes rough, strong, and irregular because of being controlled roughly. The middle way of breathing practice is to notice it passively. Without any interference and control, why should we notice but not control our breathing? Breathing reflects all the activities of the mind. Knowing breathing well is knowing whether the mind is peaceful or unpeaceful. But if, while knowing our breathing, we try to intervene and control it, our breathing will stagnate, causing our ego to grow. Breathing in the right way is to breathe smoothly, whether the breath is long or short. This kind of breathing is less violently controlled. We have to be smart enough to not allow the breath in to exceed the threshold of past. When someone met Buddha, Buddha would give him a meditation topic that fitted his karma to correct it. We all suffer from an identical karma, being stuck to ourself. Therefore, the true path of meditation must lead to the non-self. In Chinese Buddhist meditation, after meditation masters went through many stages of meditation, so their minds were extremely pure and serene, they had to overcome the very last thing so as to be completely free from their self. This is also related to the no-self and will be elaborated in the 4 foundations of mindfulness 6. On the path of meditation, when our minds are gradually purified, we will discover our self and see its peace and purity. But our self is the final hurdle that we must overcome for our ultimate goal of no-self, means selflessness. In conclusion, we need a lot of things to enter the field of meditation. First is the determination to keep the mind pure and serene. Second is knowledge of the karma law. Third is knowledge of human psychology. Fourth is knowledge of traditional and modern medicine. Fifth is knowledge of the physiological and psychological structure of the brain. Sixth is all the levels of mindfulness including their hindrances. Seventh is the levels of right concentration including their fetters, instincts. Eighth is the knowledge of the pros and cons of all meditation sections. Ninth is knowledge of the moral and psychological system. 10th is knowledge of meditation techniques and how to make efforts to practice meditation. We have to know exactly about the technique of the kind of meditation we are following, how to put the mind in a serene state, how to breathe, how to meditate, where to keep the mind focused, and how to deal with hallucinations. Also, we should know all about the stages of enlightenment. You see, meditation is a science more difficult than any other science. The science of meditation helps us understand meditation and forge a determination to practice it in accordance with the Buddha's teachings for our good results. Namo Shakyamuni Buddha.